Hello everyone. Welcome to Lunch with Linda. I'm Linda Daniels, the owner here at Northampton Wools in downtown Northampton. Whether you're watching us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, I welcome you inside Northampton Wools. I'm here alone today. Kate is coming in later on. We're having a big team meeting tonight to plan out the rest of our summer, so I get to do this stuff by myself today. And hopefully you will be able to join us and participate, say hello, let me know that you're out there. It was a glorious weekend here in downtown Northampton. I hope you all had a chance to get outside and enjoy the warm air and the sun. Hey, Kate, she's watching us from Greenfield until she comes down a little bit later on. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Dale. Glad to have everybody jumping in and saying hi. Downtown Northampton was a riot of color and people and all kinds of noise and joyful celebration as they celebrated their first Pride Parade in, I think it's 4 years since they've had one. They managed to throw one together in a very short time, and I have to say, if the number of people that were in downtown all day is any indication, it was a big success. They had the parade starting at 11, was done by 12, but they set up in the back parking lot and had a lot of music and booths and activities, and I was just amazed by the number of people who not only came downtown but stayed downtown all day. So we were really very busy. I had a chance to sit outside in the sun on Sunday and take advantage of that, as we did a lot of things around the yard, and I hope you guys did too. It's going to be a beautiful week, and hopefully we're really into the spring weather in the month of May. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this shawl. I had it on a couple of weeks ago, and we had a number of people ask about it. I did not think that the pattern was available. It originally was designed for Richard DeVries, for him to use his fingering weight yarn in kits. And I had a request from Amy Wasserman to look for it, and I could only see it on his website. I didn't have time to look that hard on Ravelry, but in talking with her, I was able to give her the name of the pattern, and she found it on Ravelry. So yay, Amy, thank you so much. The name of the pattern is Raising the Bar. I printed out the first page of it. Hi, Bob. Yeah, hi to all of you husbands who might be watching as well. So the name of the pattern is Raising the Bar, and it is designed by Michelle Meadows. It is a paid pattern. It's $6 on Ravelry. And all of these little pictures here on the side are showing it in lots of different colorways. It was originally designed, as I said, for Richard DeVries as cocktail shawls with a cocktail theme. So this one is Blue Lagoon. They have a martini. They have a sex on the beach. They have all different colorways. It's done, like I said, in fingering weight. You basically need 3 different colors and 1 shot. This one. Get it? Shot. 1 shot of something as a surprise, and that happens only at the very bottom edge. Technically, you only use about a half a skein. So if you've got leftover fingering weights that are at least a half a skein, you need 200 yards of each of 3 colors. So this shawl has the off-white, the multicolored blue, and then the turquoise, the solid turquoise in it right there. If you had to purchase fingering weight yarn, most of the skeins are 400 yards. So you would actually end up with enough yarn to make the shawl twice. And I just grabbed some, just 2 colorways to show you of the things that you could do. Now, I stick to the same old martini all the time, so I don't really know what these colors would be, but I want to say Sex on the Beach, but I'm not sure. And then throw in, we've got a lot of mini skeins, and that's all you need for that little shot of color. But here is one combination that I think looks really, really fun and pretty. You do want sort of one multicolor skein and then 2 sort of solid colors. And then the colorway that's kind of close to what I've got on, because we don't have any more of the kits. This is a combination of periwinkle sheep and magpie. Tequila sunrise, that's a good one. I do remember drinking those, Bonnie. Thanks. So this one is more of the turquoise, not quite as bright as the one that I have on, but still effective with those little shots of color right in here. 1 multi and 2 sort of solid colors in there. So if you are looking for the pattern, we don't have the pattern in the store, although we can easily purchase it for you on Ravelry, and it will end up in your Ravelry library, or you can go right to Ravelry and buy it on the Ravelry site. Again, it is Raising the Bar by Michelle Meadows. So if you are interested in that, that's where you can find it. So I wanted to spend this month talking about casting on and the different ways to do it. There are a lot of different ways to cast on, as I'm sure you know. And it hasn't been until recent times that patterns would actually tell you how to cast on. Mainly the patterns simply say cast on, and it's up to you to choose either the only method you know or to choose your favorite. Now, you will sometimes see a specific cast on called for in a pattern. They might tell you to cast on to start a project using the long tail method, or they might tell you to use the cable cast on. And even though you might not choose to use these cast-ons, I think it's really important to have an idea of what the designer is talking about. The more tools or tricks you have in your kind of arsenal or brain library, the better off you're going to be as you're doing all kinds of different patterns. So I did a little swatch right here of what we're calling, or what is known as, the knitted cast on versus the cable cast on. And they achieve the same results in that they get stitches on the needle. And that's the main purpose, is to get stitches on the needle. Do they serve different purposes? And the answer to that is yes, they do. Is there a right or wrong one? And the answer to that is no, there isn't. Like I said, the main idea is to get stitches on the needle. And how you do it is really up to you. But if you want to take like that next step into being a more proficient knitter, then it's nice to know about these things and when and why to use them. The knitted cast on down here at the bottom, you can see, is a little bit holy. There is a strand of yarn that falls underneath the stitches that creates that little bit of a holy space. With that much space in it, it also means that that knitted cast on is very, very stretchy. And the cable cast on has more of a braided look to it. It is still stretchy, but it's not as loose and stretchy as the knitted cast on. I am going to try to show you right now what the difference is. When you do a knitted cast on, both of these start with a basic slip knot. The knitted cast on, let me get this in here, means that you knit into the stitch. You wrap the yarn around, pull that loop up, and then when you put it on the needle, you want to kind of go into the stitch backwards like that. And then you would knit right into that stitch. Pull it through and put it on. The cable cast on is very similar. The only difference is where you put the needle. The needle now goes in between the 2 stitches. Instead of going into the stitch, you're between those first 2 stitches. You wrap the yarn around, pull the loop out just like you did with the knitted cast on, tip it up and put it on the needle backwards. Between the 2 stitches, pull a loop through and put it on backwards. So what's the difference? What does that really mean? If you are thinking when you are knitting a sweater and they're not telling you which cast on to use, think stretchy. Where in the sweater would you want your cast on to be very stretchy? Where in the sweater would you want your cast on to be on the firmer side? And one of the main examples that I can give you is in the market square bag. When you reach the top of the bag, you have to cast on stitches for the handle. The pattern tells you to throw on a twisted loop. We're actually going to dive into twisted loops next week. But to make that kind of handle, you want that edge to be on the firmer rather than on the looser side. You don't want that handle to stretch out a lot. So the cable cast on would actually be a better cast on for that particular piece. When you are making the side-to-side sweater and you get to the underarm where you have to cast on for the sleeves, that's this area right here. You don't need that to be stretchy. In fact, you want that to be on the firmer side as well so that your sleeve doesn't grow in length. So it is better to do the cable cast on rather than the knitted cast on. If you are casting on particularly a piece where you're going to have to pick stitches up and knit in the other direction, that's when the knitted cast on is really a good one to use. You could even use it instead of a provisional cast on. It's not perfect. It's not as nice as the provisional cast on for picking up stitches, but it does give you a clear, precise area to pick it up on. So Kate and I will do a little video this week demonstrating that method in more detail, and we'll put it up on YouTube and on our Instagram so that you can really learn the two of them. But I thought I would mention them both today. So to remember them, it's really pretty simple. The knitted cast on, you stick the needle into the stitch as if you were knitting. The cable cast on goes between the two stitches so that it makes a firmer bottom edge. Hi everybody, I see everybody jumping in and saying hello. I'm glad to see all of you joining us today. So just something to think about. There are more and more patterns that are calling for specific cast-ons. And again, if they are saying to cast on in a particular way, the designer had something in mind. She wanted it to be a little bit firmer or a little bit stretchy, or maybe she has you picking up stitches later on. And the more you know, then the more you will understand what the knitting patterns are telling you to do. So I hope you take some time and think about trying something different. I would not, this is just me, but I would not necessarily recommend either one of those cast-ons for the initial cast on top of ribbing at the bottom of a sweater. Even though it's pretty stretchy, it doesn't make as stable enough bottom edge as a regular long tail cast on. So add those to your arsenal and you'll be very, very happy. I also wanted to let you guys see and share with you, we sold out of the initial 3 colors that I got in for the summer wrap, the Seed Stitch Summer Wrap. We gave this pattern out free with a purchase for local yarn store day. And of course, right after local yarn store day, we got in 2 new colors. So we now have a good supply of a color called Mermaid's Dreams, which is lavenders, that olive green into a very soft teal. Again, it would only take 2 skeins to make that wrap. And we also have plenty of stock in this color called Aurora Borealis, which has that shot of yellow. I'm really tempted to make that again. Both of these colors are really bright and fun, and I think a great choice for summer. Boy, I really like that yellow to gold in there. Let me pull that out so you can really see it. Wow, that's going to be stunning in that shawl. So we'll still give you the pattern for free if you buy 2 skeins of the Cumulus Rainbow, and hopefully that color tempts those of you that didn't have a chance to pick it up during local yarn store day. So I wanted to show you those new colors. I also wanted to remind you that Mother's Day is coming again on Sunday, and we still have a few copies left of the My Knitting Notebook. That is a regular retail of $22, and we're able to offer it to all of you for $15. You can purchase it on the website or give me a call or an email, and we'll put it aside for you and hold it until you can pick it up. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you guys or remind you of is that we've got these great little kits from Sweet Georgia Yarn. They are called Party of 5, and they're a beautiful little fade already pre-packaged for you in colorways that really go together. Each one of these skeins is 105 yards, so there is easily a shawl in each of these boxes. And the pattern, or one of the patterns that Sweet Georgia has done with them, is this really long infinity cowl in a fairly simple lace pattern. And you can see how the fade shows up really well in that color. The fade really goes from one color to the next, and you don't have to think about it. You just have to do what the pattern says. So I pulled some of the colors over that we have, and this would make such a great little kit for Mother's Day. It almost looks like a little bouquet right there. So this one is Tofino Road Trip in those kind of muted greens. This one is Farm to Table. That has a multicolor in there as well. This one is, I hope they show up because this is a really deep purple, and it does. They are from light to dark. This is Whisper. This is really, really pretty. Deep, deep, deep purple. And then my favorite, of course, is Botanica with these great greens. Really nice. And one more that I wanted to share with you. This is called Jelly Bean. That's one of my favorites as well. So we've got a few other colors over there to choose from, and I think 3 or 4 patterns, but this particular pattern uses just the Party of 5, just one whole set. And the color that I showed you is Jelly Bean. It's actually that orangey one that I just held up there. So you would be able to do this big, long cowl in just one of those kits. And a size 7 needle. So even though it is a fingering weight yarn, it's not going to take a really long time to do. So we also were able to restock Neons and Neutrals. That's the newest book from La Bien Amie from Amy, and it has some wonderful patterns in there. We've already begun to sell out of the inventory that we got in. So if you've been waiting for that or looking for that, we do have it in stock. The issue 17, the summer issue of Lane magazine, is also now available, and we are already down to only 4 of those left. So don't wait. These things are going quickly, and that makes a great Mother's Day gift as well. That is, I think, just about everything I wanted to tell you guys today. Yeah, it is. Everything that I wrote down, I talked about. So hopefully you get a chance to get out and about this week. And if you do, make sure you stop in and say hello. We will be open Wednesday through Saturday this week. And next week we start a few of our doodle class and ranunculus class and Winter's Beach, which is underneath this wrap. So we're going to have a fun rest of the month. May 17th, again, I'm going to just keep reminding you, May 17th on that Wednesday, Karen will be here from Periwinkle Sheep. I really hope you guys, if you're curious at all about what her business is like and what she does, how she figures out colors and dyes her yarn, come on in and say hello to her on Wednesday. We will have the yarn through the rest of the month, if not longer. And you'll be able to see a big selection of all of the Periwinkle Sheep yarns that she hand dyes out in Albany, almost in our neck of the woods, but a little bit out there. So have a wonderful afternoon, you guys, and find some time this week to go and knit something, and especially if you have to cast on something new. Bye.